So I want to point something out here, that what I'm doing right now is I'm showing on the bigger scale, because I have a different place in Texas I'm doing this, and there's going to be a different place in Arkansas that I'll do the same thing, and there'll be another place in another state. And what I'm going to show through the course of my own travels and my own journeys is that there's corruption, and it just goes all the way up. For the DAs, to the mayors, to the judges, it just goes all the way to the top. So I'm pulled over and I'm parked here. You want to scoot over here, Angela, next to me just a little bit? You can use that armrest right there if you want, or we could scoot over here. So this woman's name is Angela Ratcliffe, and she's going to tell us her story about the Ironton Police Department and what happened with her. So go ahead, Angela, you got the floor.
First, I want to say thank you to my husband, because I don't think I could have done this without him. The story involved my ex-husband, Dana, but I'm not going to elaborate into any of that unless he was here to give the whole entire story of what happened. They show up at my house, and I was sitting in my chair on the outside smoking with a short nightgown on.
Why did the police come to the house?
Well, my ex-husband had gotten drunk, and he had called the police on me because we had gotten into it. There's a lot of detail to that I don't want to go into unless he's here.
But the cops show up to a domestic.
Yes.
And by the way,
Yes.
I'm glad we're talking about this. This
Yes.
is a perfect example. So what happens when they show up to the domestic? Are you guys still in an active physical fight?
No. He had walked off because I wasn't allowing him to take my vehicle because he was drunk. He had been drinking whiskey.
You said you've been drinking whiskey, you ain't taking my car.
That's how that happened.
Right, makes sense.
He walks off and he calls the police.
But you guys are not in active warfare at this time.
No.
So everything's calmed down.
Yeah.
You know, even if there's blood drawn, you guys aren't fighting anymore, you probably have a lot of regret and drunkenness and okay. So then what happens?
Okay, so I had 4 police officers rush me.
I don't
around
understand.
The corner.
So the cops show up and who answers the door when the cops come?
I was sitting outside.
And which cops are there?
I don't even know who they were because it happened
You
so
guys
fast,
gotta get their
and
name.
I was so traumatized.
I don't understand.
And this is all stuff I'm learning now.
I know that. You're learning.
I've never been in trouble prior to that.
You've never been in
Ever.
trouble? You're not
Never.
a drug addict?
No.
You don't do meth?
No.
You're not strung out on drugs?
Nope.
You're not a felon?
Nope.
You sure you're not a criminal and you just don't hate cops? You hate authority.
My nephew's a cop.
Just
He's the
admit it,
best
though.
cop.
Admit it. You're here lying about the police because you hate authority. That's what it is.
Oh, this goes way deeper where we live. There's an act to where, let's get her in trouble and then we'll use that against her. She's a bad person.
Oh,
or
you should-
he's a bad person.
Yeah.
And then we don't speak up because we're afraid of that. And that is so wrong. That is so wrong. That is not the way it is around the world, people, just in this small town. We're prisoners. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, I'm calmed. I had called my girlfriend because I was like, I was calm.
Right.
I was sitting in the corner. I had four police officers.
Ironton police officers?
They were
Sheriffs?
just around. I don't even know who all it was. It was police officers in one state.
But you live in
in
Ironton.
Chesapeake. I lived in Chesapeake at the time.
Okay.
So then they took me. Okay, so then they put me up again on a step. He picked me up. He put me on a step.
Who picked you up?
The police officer.
You don't know their names. You got to know their names.
He cuffed me. He put me in cuffs.
So how were
against the door.
How were the cuffs?
I mean, I couldn't breathe. It was so tight.
Yeah, you mean so cuffs are absolute torture?
In my nightgown.
Cuffs are torture, though. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's torture from the moment they're put on.
100%. I start crying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm up against a glass door
Mm-hmm.
on a step. All right, I have to say that because there's no balance.
Mm-hmm.
My hands behind my back. He tases. I start crying and I said, "You all don't understand. This is my house," because they told me it wasn't my home.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Yes, it is my home." So then the guy tased me while I was in cuffs.
Wait,
I was in handcuffs.
Wait, you got tased while you were in
handcuffs.
What? You're in handcuffs, being tortured. They have you against the wall, and then as he has you against the wall, He's tasing you in the back?
I turned my head to the one guy, my hands behind my back, and I said, "You don't understand, this is my home." And he hit me with the taser. Then I fell off the step, hit my head on the door, all in handcuffs, okay? So then...
Hit your head?
Yeah, I hit my head.
So you fell when he tased you?
I sure did.
You fell down on the ground?
I fell into the door and then onto the ground.
Because you have no balance when your arms are behind your back.
I'm on a step in handcuffs.
But the handcuffs are for your safety. They're for your safety. You feel safer?
And let me mention, I have a German Shepherd that everybody has loved. She has since passed away. He pulled his gun out on her to shoot her.
To shoot your dog?
Mm-hmm. So then they dragged me from there out in the rain to the state highway patrol car, or I don't even know what car they put me in. Actually, to be honest, it was a sheriff's car because the state highway patrol guy left.
Okay.
He watched it, and you could tell he was not happy with what they were doing. So
but
he
just
left.
went along with it. I got that.
He just left.
Yeah, he's one of the good guys.
So then, so they take me. So my husband at the time, he asked if he could get me some pants, and because now I have just panties and a short nightgown. That's all I have.
Wow. Seems like there's no respect for women's dignity, just like there's no respect for men's dignity.
It gets worse. So my husband tried to get me pants and shoes, and they wouldn't. They let him get pants and shoes, but they wouldn't let me.
Some common decency, you mean? You mean treating someone like a human being, but they couldn't take the cuffs off you because it's their policy.
They couldn't even let me get pants and shoes, and it was raining.
It's raining outside, and you're in a teddy, in a little nightgown.
I'm just in a t-shirt nightgown.
You're in a t-shirt nightgown. Okay.
So they take me to Ironton, and they arrested him too. They arrested him also.
What? Wait a minute. So, like what I say earlier, why arrest one person when you can arrest two? Because he's the one that called because she hit him apparently. And so just from the outside looking in, I'm just giving an overview here. So he's bleeding though, not her, just so you know. So the husband isn't beating up the wife. She's not bleeding out the face. He is. And so when the cops come, they arrest her. And bonus, like the other 5 stories I've heard, they arrest both couples.
Yeah.
If they said to you, we're going to take the cuffs off, go back there, get your jeans and t-shirt on, put on some warm socks because the jail's cold.
They let him go get his pants and shoes. Shoes.
I'm asking you though, if they had said to you, you can go get your stuff. If you act nutty, you're on camera, the judge is going to see it. Go get your jeans and stuff. Obviously, we're going to charge you with assault, so you want to come with us. What would you have said?
I would have just easily got my things and went with them.
Or the other option is we put you in torture cuffs, tase you, and drag your ass to the dungeon. Right? Are you sure you wouldn't run off? Are you sure you're not a crazed lunatic? You're not going to go in the back and get a gun and shoot the cop? You sure?
I don't have a gun.
Oh, but you're sure you don't want to kill police?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm positive.
You sure? Okay, you're not a cop killer. I'm not a cop killer. Are you for law and order? Are you for rule of law?
Yeah.
You're for rule of law?
Yeah.
Me too. So a simple camera and you have to come with me, miss, and you'd be willing to go?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have to be done that way.
Right.
So then when they walked me and him in, all right, my nightgown was up above my behind. Okay?
Right.
So my butt was completely exposed to the entire police office.
Right.
Or the jail.
Right.
The jail.
Right, of course.
So
all the sheriffs?
Everybody that was in there saw my
And your
butt,
ass
my
is
butt.
showing.
Yes. So I've got cuffs behind my back. I cannot pull my nightgown down. And they walk me in, they walk him in, and I'm crying. And so I asked him to please pull my nightgown down.
Right.
And he told me to shut the fuck up and sit down. And my ass was out the whole time.
Who's the sheriff at this time?
I believe it was Lawless.
Jeff Lawless was the sheriff as your butt was hanging out.
And the way that he wanted to solve it was for me to come and talk to him. After the court situation, because my attorney had just sued them for doing something like that to another woman or another person. And he tried to get me to...
come talk to him?
Well, to file a suit because of what had happened.
Who did?
My attorney did.
Right,
but he also prefaced it with, they're going to follow you and harass you everywhere.
He prefaced it with that, just like the other person prefaced the other girl who'd been raped by a bunch of people, and they said, don't do anything because you're going to be harassed. So now
I ended up getting arrested on charges of resisting arrest.
But you were just sitting there.
I was just sitting there, and whatever transpired between my ex at the time, that was all dismissed. Nobody, But I ended up getting a resisting arrest charge because they had to cover their asses because of what they done to me.
And then when do they take the torture cuffs off?
Not until they take me into the back to strip search me.
Oh, you get strip searched. For a domestic violence, you're now packing drugs up your backside.
I'm naked in cuffs and I get strip searched. Did the typical bend over and all that.
No.
I was crying.
But hold on a minute. The people who've never been to the dungeon, they don't understand the humiliation. Just this little process here. So I want to clearly articulate how inhumane it is. So you got the torture cuffs on. The lady says, "Come back here. We're gonna have to really examine you because you got to fight with your husband now. We got to demoralize you." So now they're gonna tell you to take off your panties.
Oh yeah.
And they tell you to take off your shirt.
Yeah.
So now you're completely naked. And the woman in front of you, she's your mother, your aunt. She's your sister?
I don't even know who she is.
Okay, you don't even know her at all. And so then what does she tell you to do?
Bend over.
Bend over.
Yes.
She needs to look up your butt to see if you're packing drugs up your butt as you were sitting on your porch just 30 minutes earlier. Okay. Makes
Calm.
a lot of sense.
Sat in there calm.
This all makes...
I was actually relieved when they had walked around.
This all makes perfect sense to do to people. This is a perfect process. We should keep doing this to every person who ever gets arrested. I love this system. So now, after you get strip searched, what's the next thing that happens?
They put me into this little room, just a concrete room.
Do they get a jumpsuit? You're still wearing panties and a shirt?
I got a jumpsuit. I did
so
get
now
a
you
jumpsuit,
now you get an orange or blue or pink or whatever it is jumpsuit?
Yes.
Okay. Did they give you underpants?
No.
So are you underpantless or are you still saying panties?
I just have on a jumpsuit at this time.
There's nothing underneath, just a pure jumpsuit.
Yes.
Does that you feel fresh like that?
Oh my gosh.
You feel brand new? You feel like a real human being, like a free American when you're in a jumpsuit with no panties on? Does that feel good to you? I'm trying to show you guys how inhumane this disgusting system is that was created for slaves.
It's not right.
So now as we continue down, now what happens next? They put you in this room. Is it cold in that room?
Oh yeah.
Freezing.
Oh, yeah.
Freezing cold. Are you by yourself? So you're in a room. Wow, that's amazing. You're not stacked on top of bodies.
Not in this particular. They had a lady that was in there that was on suicide watch, so she got all this foam to lay on, and I had to lay on the concrete.
It feels like a dungeon. The walls are decrepit. It's dirty. It's nasty.
Oh, it's dirty.
It's dirty, and you're on just hard concrete.
Yeah.
Even the benches are concrete. They just come out of the ground. They're just concrete.
Yep.
So there's nothing to really grab. It's just all concrete.
Yep.
And then do you get a pillow? No pillow.
No, I didn't get anything because the other girl was on suicide watch.
Oh, so that means pretty much anybody who's in the jail, if they get a pillow, if they get treated with any kind of decency, they're going to use the pillow to hang themselves or hang you. There's a propensity for violence when you treat people like animals. Maybe stop treating people like animals, treat them like human beings, and you won't have that propensity for violence inside of the dungeon.
I got out in the middle of the night, late that night, and I had to leave in my nightgown with this guy.
What? So you get bonded out, and then you're leaving your panties in your...
in his vehicle to get money to pay him.
Wait, the jail can't afford to give you just a pair of pants and a t-shirt?
No, they sent me out in a nightgown with this guy and drove down the road, and he had to stop me at an ATM to get money for him, and I'm in a nightgown.
But you have to be bonded out though, because you're a hardened criminal. You've kidnapped your neighbor's children before? Have you done that? No, you sure? Okay. Just want to make sure that we're not talking to, the actual evil carnation of Satan here, because Satan deserves to be treated that way. If you want to torture someone, it's Satan. That deserves that, but not a human being.
Okay, this girl tried to call you. They're going to try to set you up safe. She said she tried to call you, but she didn't get any answer. Will you call and please tell you don't let anyone else in your car, because someone's supposed to be in your car, and drop some kind of dope or fentanyl into your car so the police can pull you over.
And that's what you're hearing?
Yeah, that's what I was told today.
So one of the blanket ship cops are going to try to set me up by dropping something in my car. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. I don't know, who's going to be supposed to be doing it, but I was told.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
I should make a open statement to the police of the tri-state areas here. I don't do drugs. I don't transport drugs. I don't have anything on me. I'm not a known drug offender. It's not how it works.